Hey, yo, what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag, you know what I mean? And this is the third video of the night. You know what I'm saying? This is not about Tessa Blanchard or Saturday Night's Main Event or things like that. You know, especially with Tessa Blanchard, it's not about that. It's not about that. You know what I mean? This is actually a discussion video for the night. You know what I'm saying? And I love doing these because I love giving my opinions on these. You know, I mean, look, like this is what I love about pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Pro wrestling discussions is that, you know, I at least can, you know, God damn, I at least can make you think. And if I can make you think, you know, about stuff, I'm just going to lower this down because watching Family Feud. You know, if I can make you think, you know, then I feel like, all right, I did my job. You know, because again, I love doing these discussion videos. I mean, you guys know I love professional wrestling. I love wrestling just like how I love baseball, how I love football, how I love fucking basketball, how I love black women, how I love video games, how I love, you know, art. You know what I'm saying? Like I always had that love, always, and that love will never die. You know, how I love dogs. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's discussion, I want to talk about, pro wrestling during the pandemic. And that is a time that I hope to God we never have to go through ever again. You know, we know how fucked up the pandemic was during that time, right? You really couldn't do shit during the pandemic. Everything was shut down completely. I mean, every fucking thing. The world was shut down, you know. I remember I had to work through home, and that shit was frustrating. You know what I mean? Because still being in the house, I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? The whole. You guys know Verona virus. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? Like you guys know what I mean. You know, Verona virus. You get what I'm saying? You know, CV. The whole CV just shut the whole world down. You know what I mean? And, you know, you really couldn't do anything. Everything got shut down. Everything. You know, and also during that time, you know, things got canceled. The NBA got canceled, you know, until a couple months later when they had to play their season through, you know, in a small little place called the Bubble. Same thing with fucking hockey. You know, or everything was all in one spot. You know, and then baseball, everything was just in one spot. You know, no, baseball didn't even start at that point yet. It didn't even start at that point, you know, but they shut that. No, I think they did play, but it was only like with a little bit of fans, you know, and it was depressing. It was beyond fucking depressing. You had to wear a mask and everything. And, you know, I had gotten 2 COVID shots. You know what I mean? I had to. And then you remember they put that thing up your nose. That shit was just, And I had caught COVID too. I had caught COVID like in the beginning stages. Cause it was a sickness that I never felt before in my life. And it's one that I would never, ever wish upon towards anybody. Never. Pro wrestling got shut down too. And, you know, it was very, very dark during that time for pro wrestling because, you know, it was not only, you know, WWE that was shut down, AEW was shut down, but actually, no, fuck am I talking about? It was not shut down. What happened was they were shut down doing shows in big arenas. That's where it was shut down. You know, but then WWE and AEW, you know, they had a compromise, you know, WWE done stuff in the Performance Center, you know what I mean? And then, you know, that was a little depressing if you think about it because, you know, it was with no fans and such, you know, and so, you know, they created the Thunderdome where they had like the screens on the side, you know, with fans, you know, like they basically was live stream, you know, they was live streaming fans and everything else. Now, I mean, the fans showing their faces, you know, via screen and such, right? I mean, it was a lot better than the Performance Center, but, you know, it was still depressing. It was still depressing and such. And mind you, they did this in Florida. You know, also remember, AEW was doing stuff in Daly's place. You know, and they had a little bit more of a vibe to it too because they had the wrestlers cheering stuff on. But it was depressing because, there was a lot of things that happened during that time that I was like, it just feels like shit. And then on top of that, you also had the speaking out movement. You know what I mean? The speaking out movement and how many wrestlers lost their jobs because of that. How many wrestlers, careers derailed because of that. You know what I'm saying? And it was just very, very dark and depressing. I personally didn't like it. I just cringed. I mean, I cringed at, at everything. It was just a dark time in pro wrestling. But again, I did like some of the stuff that they did. I did like some of the things that AEW did where, they shot from, they shot from the side of the screen, the side of of their Titantron and such. And then WWE wound up doing the same thing. The other thing I did respect WWE for, during the pandemic was, when they had like the hockey plexiglass on the side so that people could protect themselves. That I did not mind. But it was just a dark fucking time. It was very, very shitty. It was very shitty. That's why I'm glad, like, back in 2022 is when they started to really, bring fans back onto the shows and such. You know what I'm saying? It was slowly but surely. It was just a fucking mess during that time. Again, when everything gets shut down, right? It just becomes depressing. No fans, no physical interaction. It was just dark. It was just pretty. It was like apocalyptic. Apocalyptic. The fuck. It was just dead. It was very, very dead. And that is a time that I hope we never, ever have to go through ever again. And plus, on top of that, you had deaths that happened. Now, I mean, I think you had Brody Lee's death. That was like really sad. Of course, Sting came back during the pandemic. Remember Raw Underground? Oh, man. It was just, it was just a mess. It was just a mess, And I mean, Sting's AEW debut was not a mess, but in front of fans, it could have been bigger. But, I mean, look, again, that is a time that I hope to God we never have to go through again. I mean, look, the Verona virus is still around. You know what I mean? But it's not as potent as it was, some fucking 4 years ago. It's not. You know what I mean? And then also remember the mask. People had to wear masks and shit. It was just fucking crazy, yo. I was depressed. I'm like, man, and then watching wrestling is, oh man, it was fucking terrible. It was beyond terrible. Everything got shut down. Stores got shut down and stuff. And that is a time, a period that I do not want to live anymore. And I'm glad we're not there. I'm glad that we're back into some sense of normalcy. But it's still a long way to go. And again, with pro wrestling, I doubt if we even get back to that part ever again. I strongly doubt it. We will never get to that. But anyway, guys, I'm all to be out. So I will catch y'all tomorrow. And who knows what else is going to happen, in wrestling. Because I have a funny feeling that the ugly parts are going to get even more ugly. You know what I mean? But I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.